Welcome back to some new r/PettyRevenge stories, where people share small victories over those who wronged them. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called Bad Neighbors. I live in a small house in a mostly student area in the UK. For the most part, it's fine. The students in the nearby houses have the occasional house party on weekend nights, but never on weekdays. And until recently, they've usually finished by midnight, so it doesn't bother me. This new bunch of guys that moved in next door in November have been absolute jerks though. House parties until 5 AM on weekdays, letting random friends park on my driveway without asking, heckling/making fun of me as a group when we are both outside. All the good stuff. I've just rolled my eyes and ignored it for the most part, but I'm still human, so the constant disrespect still set me off. A couple of weeks ago, however, I was working next to my window. I saw one of them taking a bin bag full of rubbish outside, and realizing there was no space in any of their bins, just walk into my driveway and put it in mine. For some reason, despite it being far from the worst thing they've done, that just irritated the heck out of me. A week later, I woke up at 4 AM on a non-party day, when I knew they'd be asleep, grabbed a random bag of the nastiest rubbish I could find from someone's bin down the street, so there's nothing to point to this being me, and went to their house. In the UK, mail is delivered through your door into your house via a post box that's freely accessible. So, I painstakingly posted all of this absolutely disgusting rubbish through their letterbox. It took me a solid 20 minutes, as I had to take multiple fresh air breaks to avoid throwing up. Then, just to seal the deal, I emptied a bottle of milk through as well, just to make it extra fun for them to clean up in the morning, and taped a note saying, "Stop talking to my girlfriend," to their door, to further minimize the chance of retaliation. Having seen the entrance area of the house from knocking on the door in the past, I know it's carpeted. The next story is called In-Store Credits. I worked at a popular gaming store for a while that did not do cash refunds. We warned people of this prior to purchasing stuff, after they purchased stuff, and even pointed it out in the receipt. Yet people would still come in and yell about getting their money back. Also, it's important to note that corporate said no. Me and my coworkers were the minimum wage middleman. We didn't have a say. A customer who I'll call Kevin came into the store one day and immediately came off as aggressive. He was angry about something he bought and wanted his money back. My coworker explained the policy to him, showed him on the receipt, and told him that the best she could do was offer him in-store credit, which came out to be about $150, the same amount he had paid for the item. He was not happy. He argued and yelled some more, before I was pulled aside by another customer in the store, who told me that she had witnessed Kevin shoving some Pokemon cards into his pockets. We aren't allowed to confront thieves at my store, corporate policy. So we waited until he left before checking the cameras. He was, in fact, stealing our Pokemon cards. Pokemon cards can get very expensive. We have cards in our store that are selling for up to $200. And on average, most of our cards are probably worth about $5. However, we separate the expensive cards from the bulk. Any card worth more than 75 cents is put behind our glass counter. That being said, most of the bulk cards we have are worth a single penny. This man probably thought he could get some good cards from this. He did not, but he did get banned from all of our stores for stealing, so he won't be able to use the $150 in-store credit he had. I would feel bad if he wasn't a jerk. The third story is called Do Not Disturb. This happened back sometime in the 2010s. It was back when daily housekeeping was the default for hotels. and the only way to turn it down was to hang the Do Not Disturb sign on your door, or tell the front desk to add your room number to the no housekeeping list. When I travel, I always refuse housekeeping, unless I'm in the same hotel for more than a week. I managed to end up with a couple of days off in the middle of a job, and since I'd been sleeping poorly, I decided I'd rather just stay in and catch up on rest than go out and about during the day. So imagine my surprise and disgruntlement when housekeeping knocks on the door on day 1. I get up, get to the door right about the same time that they are letting themselves in, and was about to ask them why they were ignoring the sign, when I realize it's not on the handle anymore. I ask them for a new one, and watch as they pull one from their cart, hang it, and apologize for the disturbance. The next day, the same exact thing happens. Only this time, by dumb luck, I wise up to the issue. As I'm walking out to get lunch later on, I happen to spot one of my colleagues pulling the sign from another colleague's door. This guy is a known prankster who no one likes, for exactly this reason. I know that he's the kind of guy who basically ignores hospitality staff at every possible chance, including things like walking out of a hotel without checking out and just leaving his keys in his room. It just so happens that this is one of those hotels that has a little card you can hang on your door to order breakfast. It gives you a place to indicate what time you'd like it delivered, and check boxes for what you'd like. At the bottom, you write your name and room number. Let me tell you, it's not hard to get someone's room number from the front desk when you are traveling together as a group. And we had to leave the hotel the next day around 4:30 AM to get to the airport. So the night before departing, I selected a 7 AM breakfast with all the fixings, and I put that hanger up on his door with his name and room number on it. When I did the math, it looked like it would be about $60, including fees, tax, and an automatically added tip. Sure enough, colleague didn't bother checking out, which meant that no one would have time to see that there was a large breakfast on order. And when his bill got emailed to him a couple of days later, he was livid. Rooms are paid for by the company, incidentals not so much. That breakfast went straight to his credit card. The last story is called She Insisted on It. A few years ago, I rented a house with 2 other women. We were all in our mid-20s, working full-time and with various social obligations. We kept the house tidy, though sometimes a dish or two was left in the sink for later if we were running late. Nell called a roommate meeting and said we should all wash our dishes when we are done using them. No problem, right? That's what we mostly did, except for the rare occasion when somebody was running late. We were extra conscious about it afterward, however. A few weeks later, I came home one afternoon to my other roommate, Petra, standing in the kitchen and looking annoyed. Above the sink was a post-it note reading, "Per our previous conversation, please don't leave dirty dishes in the sink." In the sink was a coffee cup, small plate, and spoon. Petra had missed her alarm, and I guess Nell came home during her lunch break, saw the mess, and left a note. But here's the thing. This was the first time Petra or I had left anything in the sink since that conversation. Nell, however, regularly left her dishes in the sink until the next day. The next night, Petra and I came home after Nell was asleep. She left a cup in the sink. Petra ran to her room, grabbed a pile of sticky notes, and wrote, "Per our previous conversation, please don't leave dirty dishes in the sink." I asked if I could leave a note, and it spiraled from there. Between the two of us, we left every step for washing a dish. A note on the soap, "Soap is your friend." By the sponge, "Use me to scrub away dirt." The faucet, "You are almost there. Rinse here." And the towel, "Last step. Dry, then put away." I was the first to leave the next morning. Upon returning home, the sink was empty, and a single post-it remained. I don't appreciate the passive aggression. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.